The war that broke the stars, the sky was burning. Flames danced in the distance, turning night into a red, angry storm. The stars were hidden behind smoke and fire. On the ground below, metal bodies of ships and soldiers lay broken, scattered like forgotten toys. Queen Zarvile stood at the edge of a destroyed cliff, her royal cape covered in dust and ash. Her eyes, sharp and cold, searched the battlefield for something. Or someone. "My son," she whispered. Prince Zoran, her only child, was missing. The last time she saw him, he was being taken into the royal bunker just before the humans attacked. Now the bunker was gone, destroyed in the blast. No signal. No body. Just silence. The war between humans and the Zalari Empire had lasted 5 long years. It began with a dispute over energy crystals on a border moon. But greed turned into hate, and hate turned into war. The humans were strong, brave, but dangerous. They used strange tactics, sometimes kind, sometimes cruel. Queen Zarvil had underestimated them. Now she feared it cost her everything. Her royal guards searched the ruins for hours. They found bodies, broken weapons, melted walls. But no sign of the young prince. One guard approached carefully. "My queen." "We found the royal medallion, burned near the bunker doors." She took it with trembling hands. It was cracked and scorched. The symbol of the royal bloodline. Her legs grew weak, but she stood tall. "Zoran," she said again, her voice like ice breaking. Far away, in a different part of the battlefield, a human soldier moved quietly through the debris. His name was Commander Rex Hart. He had fought in over 40 missions. He was known for being tough, a survivor. But today, he looked different. His face was tired, his armor dented. And in his arms, something moved under a dark cloth. He looked down and whispered, "Stay quiet, little guy." It was a child. Small, scared, with faint blue skin and glowing eyes. It was Prince Zoran. Somehow, the child had survived the bunker blast. Rex had found him crying under the rubble, holding onto a broken communication chip. The prince was bleeding, shaking, whispering in a language Rex didn't understand. But one thing was clear, he was just a child. And he was alone. Rex had made a choice in that moment. A choice that could cost him his life. He hid the child. He didn't report it. He lied to his team. "I didn't find anything," he told them, "only ashes." But Rex knew the truth. And now he was carrying that truth across enemy lines, risking everything to return the boy to his people. Why? Even Rex didn't fully understand. Maybe it was the way the child looked at him, with trust. Maybe he was just tired of war. Or maybe he had lost his own son years ago, and saw something in this alien child that brought back the pain. Either way, he was not going to let the child die. As he moved through the ruins, he found a broken alien terminal still glowing faintly. He typed a short message, hoping anyone would hear it. "To the Zalari royal forces, I have your prince. He is alive. I don't want war. I want to return him, safe. Meet me at the crash site in 48 hours. Come alone, no weapons." He pressed send, then destroyed the panel. He had just become a traitor in the eyes of his people. Back at the alien palace, Queen Zarvil stood in silence. She held her son's medallion tightly, eyes closed, pain growing in her chest like a storm. Suddenly, a small screen lit up on the wall. A strange symbol appeared, human military code. Her guards raised weapons, confused. "My queen, should we block the signal?" "No," she said softly. "Play it." The message played. Simple, clear, a human voice. A soldier's voice. When it ended, there was silence. Then for the first time in days, Queen Zarvil let a single tear fall down her cheek. She didn't know if it was a trick, a trap, or real. But she did know one thing. If her son was alive, she would cross every star, fight every enemy, and burn every lie to get him back. The human who refused to kill, the fire was still burning when Rex walked away from the battlefield. Behind him, smoke rose like ghosts from the ruined alien bunker. His boots sank into ash with every step. In his arms, the alien child, Prince Zoran, slept quietly, wrapped in a dark blanket torn from a fallen soldier's flag. It was strange. The same flag that led men to war was now keeping an alien baby warm. Rex's hands were shaking, not from fear, but from the weight of what he had just done. A memory flashed in his mind. Only an hour ago, he had been standing above the rubble. Gun ready, mission clear. Destroy all threats. No survivors. He was a soldier, trained, loyal. But when he found the child alone and bleeding, something inside him cracked. Zoran had looked up at him, not with hate, not with fear, but with trust. That moment changed everything. Rex dropped his weapon, knelt beside the child, and whispered, "You're not my enemy." Now deep inside enemy territory, Rex moved like a shadow. Quiet, fast, careful. The war wasn't over, and both sides still hunted anything that breathed. He couldn't contact his commanders. They'd arrest him for treason. He couldn't trust his own team, not after Sergeant Callis had started asking questions. "What's in the blanket, Rex?" "Just old tech. Nothing useful." "You sure?" Callis hadn't been seen since that night. Rex wasn't proud of what happened, but he didn't have a choice. The child came first. They hid in caves during the day and traveled at night. Rex found food packs from wrecked dropships and used scraps of alien metal to build a heat shelter. Zoran barely spoke, but he held Rex's hand tightly while sleeping. Sometimes, the child would hum a strange tune, soft, echoing like stars whispering. And sometimes, things around him would float. Small things, rocks, dust, water drops. The prince had powers. Rex didn't fully understand it, but he knew others would kill to study it, or to stop it. One night, as cold winds howled outside, Rex recorded a message on a broken alien communicator. He didn't know if it would reach anyone, but he had to try. "This is Commander Rex Hart, Human Alliance. I have Prince Zoran of the Zalari Empire. He's alive. I don't want war. I want peace. I will bring him to the burned forest, Sector 9, in 48 hours. Come alone, no weapons, or don't come at all." He paused, looked at the child beside him. He's just a kid. He didn't start this war. Then he sent the message into the night. Meanwhile, light years away, the Zalari queen stood alone in her war chamber. The room was silent, except for the soft ticking of time. Her generals spoke of retaliation, war strategy, and destruction. But she only listened to the stars, and then the signal arrived. A low human voice, clear and direct. Her eyes widened. Zoran was alive. Or this could be a trick, but a mother's heart doesn't care for logic. It feels truth. And something in the voice felt real. She ordered silence across the chamber, then whispered, "Prepare a covert team. No soldiers. Only eyes and ears. If this human speaks the truth, I must know." Back on the planet, Rex sat beside a small fire, watching Zoran sleep. He thought about his son, Daniel. 3 years ago, he had lost Daniel in an evacuation gone wrong. A ship had exploded before launch. Daniel had been inside. No war. No guns. Just one mistake. And his boy was gone. Since then, Rex had become harder, colder, until now. Now in Zoran's quiet breaths, he heard Daniel again. And in Zoran's eyes, he saw a future he never got to protect. Maybe saving this child was his second chance. But he knew the price would be high. Suddenly, a noise. Footsteps. Too quiet for soldiers. Too fast for animals. Rex grabbed his weapon and pulled the child close. From the shadows, a figure appeared. Tall, cloaked in blue-gray armor, half human, half alien tech. Not an enemy. Not a friend, just a watcher. The voice came from under the helmet. You're either the bravest man in the galaxy, or the dumbest. Rex didn't blink. Maybe both. Enemies in the shadows. It started with the eyes. Prince Zoran's eyes glowed brighter with each passing day, like stars hidden under his skin. Rex noticed it first when they hid in an abandoned fuel station. The boy had touched a broken drone, and it came to life. No power source, no battery. Just his hand. Rex stared in disbelief. What are you becoming? Zoran looked up and smiled, but said nothing. The child had barely spoken human words. Yet something inside him was growing, something powerful and dangerous. They were no longer just running from war, they were being hunted, not by armies, but by shadows. Unseen figures followed them from a distance, too fast to track, too quiet to hear. Sometimes Rex would spot faint blue flashes in the night. Other times he'd find footprints near their shelter, but no one nearby. He knew they weren't human. He also knew they weren't loyal to the Zalari Queen. These were others, rebels from the alien side. Ones who wanted the child dead. Why? Because if Zoran returned to the throne, the war could end, and some didn't want peace. They wanted power. Rex and Zoran stayed on the move, through wrecked forests, flooded tunnels, and ash-covered hills. Every sound was danger. Every shadow could be death. But something kept Rex going. The child's trust. Each night, Zoran would curl up beside him. And sometimes, Rex felt a warmth in the air, like the child was protecting them. Once, during a cold night, Rex woke up to find their shelter surrounded by glowing creatures, wild alien beasts, known to kill humans. They just stood there, watching. Then turned and walked away. Zoran opened one eye and whispered, "Safe." Rex didn't know what kind of power the boy held, but he knew it was keeping them alive. Far above the planet, the Zalari Queen stood before a giant map of her empire. Her agents had returned with news. The human was real. The prince was alive, but there was another problem. One of her advisors spoke quietly. "Rebel signals are increasing. Someone wants the child silenced before he returns." "Who?" the queen asked. "We believe your cousin, Lord Vare." Zarval's face hardened. Vare had always wanted the throne. If Zoran was dead, he could take it. But now, with the child alive, his plan was falling apart. The queen gave a simple order: "Send my shadow guard. Protect the human. Protect my son." Meanwhile, Rex had reached the edge of Sector 9, the burned forest. This was the meeting point. He set up a small camp under the black trees. The land was silent, ash falling like snow. Zoran sat nearby, drawing strange symbols in the dirt. Rex cleaned his weapon, eyes scanning the horizon. He felt something was wrong. Too quiet. Suddenly movement. A blast hit the ground beside him. He rolled, grabbed Zoran, and took cover behind a broken tank. Figures emerged from the smoke. Tall, fast, armed. Not human. Not Queen's soldiers. Rebels. They shouted in the Zalari tongue. One aimed at the child, but before the trigger could be pulled, everything stopped. Time didn't freeze. But something close. The air grew heavy. Zoran stood tall, eyes glowing white. His small hands lifted. And so did the rebels. Their bodies floated in the air, gasping, struggling. Rex watched in shock as the prince's voice echoed, "No more killing." And then, silence. The rebels fell to the ground, unconscious. Zoran collapsed too. The power drained him. Rex ran to him, held him tight. "It's okay. I've got you. I've got you." From the trees, a new voice spoke. "So, the boys. Power is real." A cloaked figure stepped into the light. Not a rebel. Not human. It was one of the Queen's personal guards. They removed their mask. A woman, silver eyes, sharp voice. "I'm here to protect him." "Then help me get him out of here," Rex said. "Not yet," she replied. "You don't understand. If he lives, the war ends. But if he dies, everything burns. The queen's rage, she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stood there. And burned. Queen Zarval's skin shimmered with heat as she stared at the war table. Her eyes were locked on the hologram, an image of her son, alive, carried by a human. It had been 3 days since the message came. Zoran was not dead. He was not lost. He had been found. By an enemy. An enemy who refused to kill. And now, her heart was at war with itself. Every breath she took was filled with fire. Her throne room was silent, her generals watching carefully. None dared speak, not after the last one who questioned her orders ended up flung across the chamber by her rage. The queen clenched her fists. Her voice was quiet, but sharp as blades. A human has my son, a soldier. Why? Her advisor, General Ratak, bowed low. He claims mercy. Says he saved the prince from the rubble. Risked his own life to protect him. The queen turned her gaze toward the stars. Humans do not show mercy. They destroy. They lie. Another advisor stepped forward. The same spy who had watched Rex from the shadows. My queen, I saw him. With my own eyes. He fed the boy. He fought off rebels. He could have run. He didn't. Zarval narrowed her eyes. Do you trust him? No, the agent replied. But the boy does. That made her pause. For all her power, for all her armies, she could not ignore one thing. Her son was alive, and he had chosen to trust. A human. Far below, hidden deep in the ghostlands of Sector 9, Rex sat in silence beside a weak fire. Zoran lay in his arms, breathing slowly. His powers had drained him again. The cloaked Zalari guard, the queen's agent, stood nearby, watching them both. Her name was Sira, sharp eyes, quiet steps, trained to kill without mercy. And yet, she hadn't. Not yet. You still don't trust me, Rex said without looking up. You're human, Sira replied. Trust is not your gift. Then why are you still here? She didn't answer. She looked at the child instead. Because that boy has something I've never seen before. Rex raised an eyebrow. Power? No, she said. Hope. That night while Zoran slept, Rex sat alone under the stars. He looked up and thought of his son again. Daniel, he whispered into the dark. I never got to say goodbye. A small voice answered, I'm not him, but I can hear you. It was Zoran. He wasn't asleep after all. He sat up, eyes glowing faintly. You lost someone, the boy said. Rex nodded. Yeah, my son. He was about your age. Zoran reached out and placed his hand on Rex's. You saved me. Maybe I was sent to save you too. Rex didn't speak. He just held the boy close. Like a father should. Back in the throne room, the queen made a decision. She stood tall, her voice echoing through the marble walls. I will meet this human, her generals shouted in protest. It's a trap. They will kill you. He must have taken the boy for power. But Zarval raised one hand, and the room went silent. I have fought 1,000 wars. I have crushed kings and burned planets. But if I cannot face one man, I do not deserve to be his mother. The queen's ship landed under the dead trees of Sector 9. She stepped out alone. No guards, no armor. Just her presence. Rex stood by the fire, Zoran beside him. Sira melted into the shadows. For a long moment, no one moved. Then, Zoran ran. Not to Rex, to her. To his mother. She dropped to her knees, arms open, tears finally falling. Zoran embraced her tightly, whispering, He kept me safe. He never hurt me. Zarval looked over her son's shoulder, meeting Rex's eyes. She had imagined this moment 1,000 times. 1,000 versions. In most of them, she killed the human on sight. But not now, not after this. She walked to Rex and stood silently, then spoke 3 words no one ever expected to hear from an alien queen. Thank you. Human. Betrayal at dawn. The peace lasted less than a night. At dawn, The sky was still pink with calm when the first shot rang out. It wasn't from rebels. It wasn't from aliens. It came from the humans. Rex knew the sound well. A sniper. Rifle, high caliber, Alliance grade. He tackled the prince instantly, shielding him with his body. The bullet struck the tree behind them and exploded in sparks. Queen Zarval spun, armor glowing, hands ready to blast. "You brought them here?" she shouted. Rex shook his head, breathing hard. "No, I swear. This wasn't me." But the queen's eyes were full of rage. A second shot screamed through the air. This one aimed at her. She blocked it with a psychic shield. Flames dancing around her. Her voice echoed with fury. This was a trap. From the hills above, a group of human soldiers emerged. Black armor, no flags, no honor. They were Ghost Squad, a secret team used for missions no one talks about. Rex knew the leader, Captain Reyes, once his friend. Now a hunter. "Step away from the alien, Rex," Reyes called out. "You've been gone too long. Headquarters thinks you're compromised." "The war's over, Reyes," Rex shouted back. "The prince is alive. He can end this." "That thing's a weapon," Reyes growled. "And you're a traitor." The queen's hands lit up with blue fire. "Let me kill them," she whispered to Rex. "All of them." "No," Rex said. "If we start killing again, it never ends." As bullets rained down, Rex grabbed Zoran and ran toward the rocky cliffs, Sira covering them with blaster fire. Zarval leapt into the air, using her power to shield her son. She fought like a star-gone supernova, pure energy and wrath. But even queens have limits. One shot grazed her side. She fell to one knee. Rex turned back, heart pounding. "We can't lose her now," he whispered. He passed Zoran to Sira. "Get him to the safe zone. Now, what about you?" she asked. "I'm ending this." Rex charged through the smoke, diving into the enemy's flank. He tackled Reyes to the ground, both men rolling across the dirt. Fists flew. Blood hit the dust. "You left us," Reyes shouted. "I saved a life," Rex yelled back. "You chose them over your own." "No," Rex growled, pinning him. "I chose what was right." Reyes reached for his sidearm, too slow. Rex slammed it away. The fight ended. But the pain remained. By the time Rex limped back to the safe zone, the Ghost Squad was gone, retreated or destroyed. The queen lay resting inside a healing dome. Sira stood guard. Zoran rushed to Rex, hugging him tightly. "You came back." "Always," Rex said, smiling through bruises. Inside the healing dome, Zarval opened her eyes slowly. She looked at Rex through the glass, voice soft. "You could have run." "You didn't." "He's not just your son anymore," Rex replied. She nodded once. "Then we are family now, and we protect our own." That night, under a quiet moon, the queen and Rex stood together, two leaders, two warriors. Enemies once, now guardians of the same child, but far away, deep in the shadows of the stars. Lord Vayer, the queen's cousin, watched the scene through a hidden drone. His eyes were cold. His plans were older than war. "So the boy lives," he said. "Then I must kill him myself." The queen and the soldier. The queen had never been this close to a human before, not without trying to kill him. Now she was lying beside one, inside a dimly lit healing chamber carved from crystal and stone. Queen Zarval opened her eyes. Her wound still burned. Her body ached. But what truly surprised her was the silence. No war, no shouting, no pain. Just quiet. And across from her, on the cold ground, sat Rex Hart, armor removed, arm in a sling, face bruised, but alive. Watching, waiting. Protecting. Not as a soldier. As something else. Z, our single quotes. Val slowly sat up, blinking through the dim light. "You stayed," she said, voice soft. "You passed out." "Someone had to make sure you didn't fry the place in your sleep," Rex said, half smiling. She stared at him, so strange, so human, and yet Something inside her no longer saw an enemy, only a man who had chosen mercy, a man who had chosen her son. Outside the cave, Prince Zoran played quietly, stacking glowing stones with gentle hums. Sira watched him, arms crossed, never blinking. The child's powers were still growing, faster than anyone expected. He had made flowers bloom in dead soil. He had calmed wild beasts with a whisper, and now, when he smiled, things moved. Inside, the queen leaned back against the crystal wall. "You gave up everything to bring him back," she said. Rex nodded. His voice was calm. "I gave up everything when I lost my own son. Saving yours, maybe that brought a part of me back." She looked at him for a long time, then finally asked, "Do you hate us?" Rex was quiet for a moment. "No, I hated what war made us do, but not you, not your people, not him." She closed her eyes. She had burned cities, crushed fleets, and still never felt peace. But now, beside this broken human, she felt something new, understanding. Later, as the moonlight hit the healing dome, the queen did something unthinkable. She removed her royal crown and placed it on the stone floor. Between them, "We are not enemies anymore, Rexhart." He stared at the crown, unsure what it meant. "Then what are we?" he asked. "We are parents." And for the first time, she smiled. But peace was always short. That same night, a message broke through the protective field. A distorted voice. Dark, cold, familiar. "This is Lord Vaer of House Zith. The boy belongs to me. The throne belongs to me. If you will not return him, I will take him. By fire, by force, by blood." The queen's face changed instantly, calm replaced by rage. "Vaer was always waiting," she whispered. "Now he sees a chance." "What does he want with Zoran?" Rex asked. "Not the boy," she replied. "The crown and the future." Outside, Zoran looked up at the stars. He walked to Rex and held out a glowing stone. "Danger is coming," he whispered. "I saw it, in a dream. Can you stop it?" Rex asked. Zorin looked at his hands. "Only if I'm not alone." The queen and the soldier stood together at the cave's entrance, wind in their faces, fire rising on the horizon. A battle was coming, but not for territory. This time, it was for a child, a future, and a promise made across species blood. And war. As Zarval looked at Rex, voice firm. "We protect him together." "Till the end," Rex replied. "Peace begins with one act of mercy." The boy stood between two armies, alone. No armor, no weapons. Just glowing eyes and a quiet heart. Above him, the sky burned red. Behind him stood Rexhart and Queen Zarval. Silent, still, waiting. In front of him, thousands of soldiers aimed weapons. On one side, humans. On the other, Zalari rebels led by Lord Vaer. The war was ready to end, or begin again, and a child would decide which. 12 hours earlier, Rex sat sharpening a knife, though he knew it would be useless in the coming battle. Zoran sat beside him, quiet. "Do you really think I can stop them?" the boy asked. Rex looked up. "I think you already have." "Just by being alive," Zoran blinked. "What if they don't listen? Then we show them what peace looks like." At the edge of the battlefield, Queen Zarval faced her cousin, Lord Vaer. He wore dark armor, covered in royal symbols stolen from ancient warlords. "You should have let him die," Vaer hissed. "A child does not decide the fate of empires." "You fear what he represents," Zarval replied. "Because he's not just royal, he's human too." Vaer laughed. "Exactly, impure, broken, unfit for the throne." But then the boy stepped forward. He didn't speak with anger. He didn't shout. He simply raised his hand, and everything went still. The wind, the birds, even the soldiers. He looked at both sides and said, "I am not your enemy." His voice echoed across the field, as if the planet itself was listening. "I am both Zalari and human. I was saved by a soldier." Not because of power, but because of mercy. He turned toward the soldiers, eyes glowing brighter. Mercy is stronger than fear, and peace is braver than war. Then he did something no one expected. He walked to Lord Vair and handed him a royal medallion, the one burned in the fire long ago. "You want the crown?" Zoran said. "Take it, but rule with blood, and you'll rule alone." Vair reached for the medallion and stopped, because in that moment he saw not a weapon, not a threat, but a child, unafraid to forgive, and it broke him. Vair dropped his weapon. So did the others from the human side. Captain Reyes stepped forward. He looked at Rex, old friend, former traitor, now something else. "You did it," he said. "You ended it." "I didn't," Rex replied, placing a hand on Zoran's shoulder. "He did." 1 week later, the battlefield became a garden. Old bunkers turned into schools. Weapons were melted into statues of unity. Zoran stood before the First Galactic Council, the youngest voice ever heard. He looked out at humans, aliens, children, soldiers, and spoke just 10 words. Peace began the day a soldier chose not to kill. Rex watched from the crowd, standing next to the Queen. She whispered, "He will change everything." Rex nodded. "He already has." Final shot, Zoran runs through a green field, laughing, holding the hands of both his parents, the human who saved him, and the Queen who gave him life. Above them, the stars shine again, bright, quiet, free.